Yes, folks, it's the return of 210 Bam Rodriguez. He's going to be defending his title against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai on a stacked DAZN card out there in San Antonio, and we got to chop this one up. So without further ado, roll that beautiful bean footage.
I hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, family? It's Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst, back at you with that uncut raw, that real, here serving it to the masses via YouTube. Anyways, we got to talk about that fight card coming up this weekend out there in San Antonio. I believe it's at called the Techport Arena. Hold on, before I mess this up and ruin this. Okay, this weekend out there in San Antonio at the Techport Arena in San Antonio, Texas, we got Bam Rodriguez defending his belts. Now, we're going to talk about this one. We got 210's finest, Bam Rodriguez, defending his newly acquired WBC Super Flyweight strap against one of the other four kings of the Super Flyweight division, Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. That's the Rat King. That's the same dude that knocked out Chocolatito. You got to give Bam Rodriguez his credit. That man is out there chasing legacy. It wasn't too long ago that Bam Rodriguez shocked the world by moving up 2 weight divisions and beating up one of the 4 kings of the Super Flyweight division in the form of Carlos Cuadras to win that vacant WBC Super Flyweight title. That in itself was monumental. This is legacy chasing stuff for witnessing, folks. Bam Rodriguez deserves all the credit in the world for moving up 2 weight divisions to win a title. The last couple of times I remember that happening was when Canelo Alvarez beat Sergey Kovalev and when Manny Pacquiao ended Oscar De La Hoya's career. It doesn't happen very often where people move up 2 weight divisions and win a fight in dominant fashion. And Bam Rodriguez did so against Carlos Cuadras. And Carlos Cuadras is one of the 4 kings of the Super Flyweight division. So when Bam Rodriguez won his title, he beat Carlos Cuadras, who was one of the 4 kings of the Super Flyweight division. These 4 guys that are at the top of that Super Flyweight division have been doing the round robin for the last few years. Carlos Cuadras, Srisaket Sor Rungvisai, Chocolatito Gonzalez, and of course, Juan Francisco Estrada. And Carlos Cuadras was definitely one of the big heads on that mantle. And Bam Rodriguez came in there and styled on him. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Bam Rodriguez was the dude who pulled out that angle and hit the uppercut on Carlos Cuadras, the one that essentially meaned Carlos Cuadras for the first part of 2022. Yeah, that Bam Rodriguez. His brother Josh Franco himself is also one of the top contenders in the flyweight division, so they've definitely got a bright future ahead of themselves. Under the tutelage of Robert Garcia, will Robert Garcia's young guy, Bam Rodriguez, manage to maintain his momentum against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai? Now, don't get it twisted, y'all. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai, a.k.a. the Rat King, is a tough competitor for Bam Rodriguez. Srisaket is the dude that knocked out Chocolatito Gonzalez. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai is the hardest hitter out of anybody in the Super Flyweight division. He's got something like an 87% knockout to win ratio. His hands have heat inside of them. So Bam Rodriguez has got his work cut out for him. Srisaket Sor Rungvisai is a very technically gifted boxer, just like Chocolatito, just like Carlos Cuadras, just like Juan Francisco Estrada, except Srisaket Sor Rungvisai is knocking fools out. The other guys, at this point in their career, because they're all getting a little bit older, we're kind of at that point with the super flyweights where they're all kind of making way for the new talent coming into the division. But make no mistake about it, Bam Rodriguez is up against the wall in this fight against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. This is going to be an interesting matchup, and it's going to be a risky one for Bam. Bam gets all the credit in the world for chasing legacy because I don't feel like enough fighters in this day and age are willing to put themselves out there on a limb to chase greatness. And that's not the only good fight that's going on in this card. You know, it's always a classic when you get Mexico and Puerto Rico going at it. And so the undercard to Bam Rodriguez and Srisaket Sor Rungvisai is going to be El Rey Martinez running it back with Arroyo McWilliams. Now, that's going to be a good fight, too, as well. So, you know, I mean, now, for those of you who don't follow the mini kings of boxing, the sub 126 pounders, the sub featherweights, you had El Rey Martinez had that fight with Arroyo McWilliams. We saw El Rey Martinez get knocked down. Now he got back up, and the fight ended up getting stopped due to a split head due to an accidental headbutt in the third round. So that's why Arroyo McWilliams and Elvira Martinez are running it back again. And Arroyo McWilliams was an amateur national standout representing Puerto Rico, and he hasn't quite gained a title. He did fall short a couple of times. Who did he challenge for a title? Let me see. Arroyo McWilliams. He did contest. He fought Amnat Ruenrong, one of those smaller guys from Thailand. He did not win that fight for the IBF flyweight title. And then he did actually win a vacant silver WBC title by beating Carlos Cuadras, but lost it in the immediate fight to Kazuto Ioka. So Arroyo McWilliams does have experience against some of the top-level guys in the flyweight division. He fought Kazuto Ioka and lost. He did fight Chocolatito and lost. But hey, Elvira Martinez fought Chocolatito and lost too, so there's no shame in doing that. He actually went the whole distance with Roman Gonzalez in a 12-round unanimous decision win. But, you know, Elvira Martinez, he comes out like a bull inside a china shop when he fights. He throws crazy power in his hands and has a bit of an unorthodox striking method, but it's highly effective. Didn't do so well against Chocolatito, but it definitely has done phenomenally well against everyone not named Roman Gonzalez. So Arroyo McWilliams has his work cut out for him in this fight coming up. And that's not the only ones of the mini kings going down on this fight card. One of the undercards to that fight is also going to be the unified super bantamweight champion MJ Akhmadaliev defending his straps against the mandatory challenger Ronnie Rios, a Southern California former national amateur standout who has fallen short a couple of times in his quest for a title, but he's going to come at MJ Akhmadaliev with everything he's got in this fight for sure. And it's going to be an interesting contrast of styles. MJ Akhmadaliev is the guy that they're hoping to get the undisputed unification fight with Stephen Fulton later on this year. But for now, MJ cannot overlook the opponent in front of him at this fight. That's going to be Ronnie Rios. And you've got Ronnie Rios, who is great at putting his punches together. He is somewhat of a linear fighter. He moves forward, he moves backwards, but he does throw a lot of volume. And if MJ Akhmadaliev is taking him for granted in any way, shape, or form, Ronnie Rios could capitalize on this moment and end up walking away with the two straps that MJ Akhmadaliev has. But MJ is no slouch himself. MJ is a technician. He moves forward, he moves backwards, he moves laterally. He's very selective with his shots, but he definitely throws a lot of heat inside of his punches, going up against Ronnie Rios, who's a great combination thrower, but definitely isn't as fleet of foot as someone like MJ Akhmadaliev. So if anything in that competition, I would lean on MJ Akhmadaliev to win by a pretty comfortable decision, if not outright getting a stoppage. But hey, you never want to dismiss anybody, especially a tough Chicano from Southern California like Ronnie Rios. So best of luck to that man, but I'm definitely leaning on MJ Akhmadaliev to win that one. And the last card on that fight that I wanted to talk about is going to be the undisputed welterweight champion Jessica Mccaskill defending all of her straps against the very game Alma Ibarra. That's also going to be a fight you're not going to want to miss on that fight card with Bam Rodriguez and Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. So Jessica Mccaskill, who is known for throwing volume, known for throwing loopy shots and them overhand shots. She definitely overwhelms her opponents. She made history in her own right when she beat the first lady of boxing, Cecilia Brækhus, to become the undisputed welterweight champion and even beat Brækhus in the title defense. She recently got done mauling Candy Wyatt, and now she's facing Alma Ibarra. Now, Alma Ibarra herself is no slouch. She's a tough competitor. Her only loss comes against my homegirl, Raquel Miller, who's currently an undefeated super middleweight. But Alma Ibarra has fluctuated in weights. She has competed at welterweight and junior welterweight and middleweight. So unlike Jessica Mccaskill's previous fight where she kind of mauled Candy Wyatt, she is not going to be able to do that same kind of mauling approach against Alma Ibarra. Alma Ibarra is a much more disciplined fighter, and Alma Ibarra is naturally bigger and stronger than your average welterweight. Whereas, Jessica Mccaskill isn't really the biggest welterweight out there, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. I might even be inclined to favor Alma Ibarra in this fight. I think she might have these sheer technical skills to be able to stop Jessica Mccaskill's forward progress, but you never want to underestimate the mindset of a champion. Jessica Mccaskill is clearly riding a wave of confidence, so you got to give her that credit. But yeah, stay tuned and look out for those fights coming up this weekend on that DAZN card, folks. How do you think it plays out with Jessica Mccaskill and Alme Ibara? Let me know in the comment section, folks. Hit like. Don't forget to leave a comment on the other fights I just talked about. If you're not pressing follow or not already following, do so. This is Hot Boxing Minute, folks.